She's died once. How long till she dies properly? And I'm freaking out. And I'm like, how am I going to tell my wife? She's in ICU too, trying to recover from this whole thing. So I walk out of the ICU to go to her ICU because there's baby ICU and grown-up ICU. And as I walk out of the baby ICU, her doctor catches me at the door and says, Andrew, I've been looking everywhere for you. What kind of medical aid do you have? Why do you ask me that? MC's dying. We waited too long. It's my wife. Are we losing her? I don't think she's going to make it. I'm like, what? Like my daughter's just died in my hand. I walk out of ICU and you're talking about my wife's going to die. I'm thinking, what? I remember driving home. It was winter. It was just like that. It was a cold night that night. And I'm sitting alone at night. I don't know if they're going to be alive tomorrow morning when I phone the hospital. Sitting in front of the fire, feeling very sorry for myself. And I'm like, God, how could you do this? You made these promises. And the Lord speaks to me. And he says, Andrew, you don't have the faith that I'm looking for. You don't have the faith of your father Abraham. And I knew at that moment that he meant, Abraham knew that even if God took his son, that God was still good. See, I was fighting with, they're mine. And in that moment I realized that she's not mine, nor is my wife mine. His. And as God, he can do whatever he wants to. And I yielded. I said, Lord, Ada, you can have them. You can take my daughter. You can take my wife. I will serve you for the rest of my life. Job said, though you slay me, yet will I praise you. You deserve my life and my praise. This will not change me. Thank you. I arrived at the hospital the next morning very nervously, thinking they probably both died in the night. My daughter had somehow beaten the superbug. My wife had turned. My baby's 15. My wife is still alive. You know, the Lord gives and the Lord takes away, and he could take them. I learned I've got to lose my life to find life. I've got to yield. I can't work this out for myself. And then ministry was something big for me. The Lord called me as a young man. I remember, and this is a story I want you to get. I remember the Lord, I was saved out of drugs and out of the occult, and I had very powerful times with the Lord. His love was so real, and his grace was so amazing, washing me. And I fell in love with Jesus. He won everything, and I wanted my whole life to be his as a young Christian. This is now like 1990. And then he began to call me in ministry, and it was so like, Lord, why would you call me? But then it became quite awesome that he called me. Like every time a prophet would be in the room, it would be like, you, come out. There's an anointing on you like a David, and you're going to touch nations. And it was like, wow, like God, it's amazing that you'd call me. And then I was in a meeting and with a bunch of young people, and I saw Jesus. He appeared in the meeting. Came over, ministered to a whole lot of people. I don't have time to tell you the details of that meeting. It was an amazing meeting. You know, Paul the Apostle saw Jesus on the road to Damascus.